business owners. I am Natalie Cook. I am the founder of and CEO of Finance Fight Club. I am here to break out down the hard finance stuff so that you can fight for your financial future as you grow your small business to whatever means that looks like to you. So let's like and subscribe down below and comment as you have feelings towards this video. I would love to hear from you. And today we're going to talk about what you need on your finance team to support your growing small business. So if you like this video, please share it with another business owner. If you disagree with this video, please email me. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Let's get started. So I am a fractional CFO. I am also the owner of a fractional CFO firm. We do something that I think confuses a lot of business owners. And we have a whole nother video about what a fractional CFO is. We're not going to talk about that too much today, but I have to touch on it because we're going to talk about what you need on your finance team. Not every business needs a fractional CFO, but every business needs forward-looking strategic finance support. And that is what a fractional CFO should be doing for your business. But if you are not there yet, if your revenue doesn't need it, if your business isn't complex, if you're not thinking about selling your business in 5 years, or you're not scaling rapidly and you're fairly steady state, you may not need a fractional CFO. It can help. I think it's always necessary, but it's not a requirement. But there are other things that are a requirement for your small business. So the first one of those is bookkeeping. Recording what's going on in your business is a key to being a successful business. I don't know how many business owners I have met who have literally had to shut their doors because they weren't tracking what was going on in their business and they were overspending. They weren't paying attention to compliance. They weren't tracking what they should pay in taxes, and they just had to close their doors. So at the very least, this is your notice to go find a bookkeeper, set up a bookkeeping tool, track your expenses, however you need to do it. And I want to talk about a couple things that if you're like, I can't hire someone to do this. Maybe you're at like $100,000 in revenue or less, but you need it. Here's a couple things. Excel or Google Sheets is not a bad place to start. Write down what you spend your money on and what revenue comes in the door. Easy peasy. Track it. Simple. Done. Next step up is get a software. I personally like QuickBooks. Xero is great as well. There's also FreshBooks. There's Wave, which I think is free if you're a tiny company. So there's a lot of tools that you can utilize while you're growing that aren't complicated. They're very easy. You hook them up to your bank account. Easy peasy. The other thing I would say is that if you are a business owner, if you're a solopreneur, you're just starting out, whatever, have a separate business bank account and run everything through one bank account. At least it's recorded that way. Yeah, you can have a separate bank account. You can look at that way. Have your receipts. You just track it some way that makes sense to you. It doesn't need to be complicated if you're teeny tiny. But if you're at that 6-figure mark, if you're just getting 100K in revenue, get a bookkeeper. They're not crazy expensive. Spend the $300 to $400 a month for really simple bookkeeping. Have it be really, really clean and nice, and record and look at your finances every month. It's going to make or break whether or not you know how to spend dollars to invest in your futures. Highly recommend bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is record keeping. Bookkeepers, of course, do lots of other things, but at the bare minimum, have someone record what is going on in your business. And that means tracking your revenue, your income, and your expenses. So revenue and expenses, what's coming in, what's coming out. The second piece is tax compliance. So do not skip over this. This trips business owners up so much. I think I met 5 business owners last year alone that were not prepared to pay their taxes. And that you can get in a lot of trouble for not paying your taxes. Not only you can go to jail for not paying, but you can get all of your wages garnished and definitely into the future. So don't do it. I think you can go to jail for not filing, but someone correct me on that. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. File your taxes. And you know what? You have different buckets of taxes. You've got your local, you've got state, you've got federal, you have sales tax. Sometimes you need to know what all those pieces are, and you are responsible for it. If you open an entity, you are responsible. The I didn't know that was happening doesn't count. There are specialists that can help if you are in a tough situation. I know lots of wonderful people that will not judge. They will just help. So please reach out if that's an issue for you. But at the very least, a good tax professional. I don't think there's anything wrong with filing your taxes if you understand what you're doing. But if you don't, just hire someone to do it. It's worth the $2,000 a year to have someone file your taxes and get you that support. I do like to have our business owners with a tax strategist and tax compliance, and sometimes those are different people. Sometimes the bookkeeping company is doing the state and local and helping with sales tax. and Nexus, cross-state Nexus. Sometimes that's a different person, a different CPA or an EA that's doing it. I really like to get a lot of our businesses, when we talk about owner compensation, tax strategy person that's going to work with me so that I can bring in what's going on in the business and they can bring in what's going on personally. We can kind of tie the two together and make sure the business and the personal are all being supported. So that's huge. And that requires sometimes a couple of different brains to kind of figure that out. So we got bookkeeping, we've got tax, and then we've got the forward-looking strategy piece. So that's where I sit in that forward-looking strategy. How do we get your owner compensation to what you need? How do we get your business ready to be sold? How do we bring in a new product line or a new pricing structure? How do we really look at those margins? That's going to be your finance or fractional CFO support. That's not always a requirement. I think fractional CFO support, the cost benefit doesn't really hit until about $1 million in revenue. And even then, sometimes margins are slim and it doesn't make sense till 2 or 3 million in revenue, or the business isn't that complex. So just know that there are 3 buckets. There's bookkeeping, tax, CFO. You need 3 depending on where you're at and where your business is at. I have a blog about it. I will link it in the comments that has a nice, pretty table of what to kind of think about. And then there's other finance people that you can bring in. There's controllers, there's auditors that are sometimes necessary. There's financial analysts and there's senior accountants and there's lots of other things. And corporate finance is a different beast than small to medium-sized businesses. So just know there's a lot of roles that might get confusing. But at the bare minimum, if you are a small business owner, you need bookkeeping, you need tax, and you need some sort of financial strategy. Sometimes that's a really good advisor and sometimes it's a fractional CFO. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share it with your friend. I will see you next time.